Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 236 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Go to www.fdfineartsassociation.org to find out more. The Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association is a great organization that supports all kinds of arts throughout the Fort Dodge and surrounding areas. Definitely worth a look. You got to go check out their community calendar, and also follow them on Facebook. Follow them on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Subscribe on YouTube for sure because they got their podcast called FDT. Comes out on the first Friday of every month. So check that out too. This episode, I'm sitting down with Candice, Justin, and Alex from Rural Route. Rural Route is such a great band. And one of the fun things about them is they support everyone. They support so much. They're always out there at other shows and wearing other people's merch at those shows. And it's always fun to, when I go to a show, if I don't have a show going on and I go out to a show, it's fun to see them in the crowd too. Or, by chance, maybe I'm playing a show and they're out in the crowd too. So they do have plenty of shows too. So we talk a little bit about that in the upcoming episode, but we kind of just get to know them here and, how long their band's been around, what kind of shows they've been playing, places they've been playing, how they got together, all that kind of stuff. So this is a good episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is 236 with Rural Route.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Sitting down with Rural Route today. Rural Route. That's awesome. I always thought the word rural was kind of hard to say.
We've run across that more than once.
It's very hard to say.
We kind of joke around that we picked the hardest word in the English language to pronounce for our band name.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just the double R's. Rural. Right? Rural.
Rural.
I mean, I was just, maybe that's just me being, I don't know. Sometimes I hear words or I try and say them. I'm like, is that right? Is that a word? And then you start saying it too many times. You're like, is this even a word anymore?
It kind of dissolves after a while.
Yeah, exactly.
What are words?
Yes. Hey, I like the hat, by the way. I just noticed that. That's a nice looking hat. A nice rural route hat. I did it.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys got a lot of good looking merch here. You guys came by, got some koozies there. This is going to be fun one here. So how long has the band been going? We're just going to go with a nice, easy softball question to start out. Who's going to take it? What do you got, Justin?
Candice and I got together November 11th of 2022. I think we...
November 10th.
No. What did I say?
November 11th.
Oh,
It's okay, you do it.
I get it. The 10 and the 11 mixed up.
It's okay.
We had our first show in February of 2023 at the Copperhead.
Yeah.
Nice. In Stratford?
20-something of 23rd of February,
Where
something like that.
you got
February of 23?
where you got double booked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was before that, and they had a different booker at that time.
Yeah.
So everything's been hashed out over there. So I don't want to make it sound like Copperhead. Everybody's heard it. Got double booked at Copperhead, and that's how I
No,
met
they
Lee.
got it all
No.
ironed out.
Dude,
They got it ironed out.
It's all good now.
Dude, and that
Yeah.
place is a legendary spot kind of in the middle of nowhere anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you have to go to basically like Boone or Fort Dodge to get to somewhere else that's going to have as big of a live music venue.
True.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's also a huge building too. It's like when I went in there, I was like, I don't know it's Stratford. How big is it going to be? And then you're like, whoa, this place is cool.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny story how we got started there because so we went in one day, just Justin and I went in for lunch one day, and there's actually a guitar hanging on the wall. Mm-hmm. And so he's like tuned it and played around with it and took it and fixed it and all this stuff. And he actually got it down, he tuned it, and he played. There wasn't very many people in there. It was like empty. And so he just started playing a song, and I sang this song sitting there. And Patty comes up to us. Patty owns it. She comes up and she goes, are you guys going to like start playing live? And we're like, yeah, that's the plan once we learn, some songs and whatever. And she's like, I want you to make me one promise. Mm-hmm. I'm your first show. I'm your first venue. And then she let us go in on Mondays when they're closed, and we got to practice in like a live venue rather than just in our dining room. And we did that, 4 or 5 times, I think. Went in, set everything up, practiced, closed up when we were done.
Yeah.
It was great, and then had our first main show there.
Not only that, but her criticism was essential, I think.
Top notch.
Yep.
What was the criticism?
She's like, you do this, you turn down, you turn up, and
Yeah. She's a very honest individual, which I greatly
Yeah.
appreciate out of Patty. At first, I was a little taken aback
We-
because I hadn't been around her much, but
We didn't
now,
have a clue what we were doing.
yeah.
no, but now to sit with her and have a conversation, and have a drink with her and everything, she's like one of the best people.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, I
absolutely.
really appreciated
Yeah.
that.
So February of 2023,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So it's been about 2 years then.
Yeah.
2 years. Did you guys play? Any of you guys play music before that live anywhere?
I played drums in a couple bands.
Like what?
Oh, well, I got a drum set when I was 14 from my detasseling money.
Okay, cool.
I mean, the lore goes deeper.
Okay.
They wouldn't let me play percussion in middle school, high school, because I didn't do the 2 years of piano.
They as in so
The
it was like the
school.
school. Yeah, they want you to have.
And I
piano.
was too angsty, so I saved up all my detasseling money, got that Tama drum set,
Mm-hmm.
and, we did a couple punk metal bands.
Of
and-
course.
Yep.
As we all do.
All the double bass, and then
Yeah. Trying to do some blast beats, Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the whole.
Yeah.
I think we all did that. That was basically
yeah.
like growing up. The teenage angst in a lot of
Yeah.
us was just like, all right, we're gonna go play some dingy shows and some
I
dingy
need to
clubs.
smack something.
Yeah,
Break some cymbals.
Some of us haven't outgrown that quite yet. So that's me. 3-finger Betty, everybody. But yeah. So what about you guys? Did you guys play any music before this?
I was trying to put a band together pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I actually played a show February of 2020, the very end of February 2020, at Ruby's in Stewart.
Okay.
And I was really trying to build and follow through with all that. And then the pandemic hit the next month, and it just kind of killed everything. So I kind of did this thing where I threw a pity party and just was over it. Because I'm an emotional musician. So, no, I was done with it until we met. And then that was, yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Justin?
Campfire guitar guy.
Oh,
That was about it.
Yeah.
Really.
It's kind of like the basement rocker, but
Yeah.
the good old boy version, I guess you
Yeah.
could call it almost. So you're the guy sitting around playing like Wonderwall or whatever. Probably not Wonderwall, but probably.
Yeah.
I'm assuming a little bit more country themed stuff for you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Lots of dirty songs that we can't play at shows.
Yeah. So how did the band get together? I'm assuming like you two met each other and then brought in a third, but I don't know. Did you guys all know each other before this?
I mean, I remember the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the Adobe bar in Boone, Iowa, and you both came out. That was the first time I met you, and you both sat down and just Justin beelined it. Hey, you want to play drums for our band? I'm like, I think you need me to.
Yeah.
And you hadn't met me. You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't know where I was at, so you kind of took a leap there. But
Yeah, but I had some trust. I mean, I was like, it's
Yeah.
Justin's brother. Like, he's not going to take
Right.
this a different direction. So, yeah.
Oh, so you guys are brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
same
Yeah.
mom.
Same mom.
Yep.
That's awesome. So that's cool. I guess I didn't know that. So yeah, you're finding it out here live. That's what this podcast is for, getting to know
Yep.
people, everybody. I mean, and that's something like I've seen you guys at lots of shows. You two, especially. For people that are just listening, it's Candice and Justin. But I don't think I've ever met Alex before.
Yeah.
Have we met?
I don't think so.
All right, cool, good.
But I got to meet you about 6 times before I remember
Oh,
your name.
yeah, watching the podcast. That's awesome. Video version's available on YouTube. But cheap plugs, everybody. No, but I've seen you guys at a lot of shows, Candice and Justin. So like you guys are always out supporting stuff. And like another one is like obviously I play a lot of music with Jesse Wilson, and you'll show up to his shows. And Jesse's known for like if it's break time, he's going to play DJ music or whatever. He's just going to Bluetooth something into the speakers. But if somebody else is there, he's like, you guys want to play a couple songs on our break? Like, go for it, And so you guys have went up there and played a couple times. Last one was I saw you guys at was Bootleggers.
Yes.
Yep.
Gotta love Bootleggers.
That was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one of those things. It's always fun when you give people the opportunity and you're like, hey, let's do this, and like, do you guys want to play something? It's obviously to you guys, I'm sure it's weird playing somebody else's like PA and instruments and stuff where you're just like, I'm not used to this mix and how this all sounds, but
We're getting used to it.
yeah.
In the beginning, it was really challenging because I would get off stage and I'd be like, I couldn't even hear myself. I have no idea what I just did. No idea. But somebody clapped, so apparently it was okay.
Yeah.
But no, I generally though the people that we now listen to and we go and support regularly have something similar to what we have, so it doesn't make it so challenging.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone kind of wants the same thing. It's just like if you have monitors, it's like I want to kind of hear what the PA sounds like, but more of me.
Yeah.
And that's I want to be able to hear myself singing or whatever. So like a lot of times if you have a little setup like that, monitors and stuff, it's not too bad. Live sound is such a tricky thing though too, because like I can't count the number of shows I've been to where it's like, I can't really hear myself. I just know that what I'm playing, I know how it should sound as I'm playing it, so I'm just hoping that's what it sounds like coming out the front of the PA, and I just don't worry about it, I guess. But I don't know, live sound is such a tricky thing.
Yeah, acoustics, the size of the venue. I mean, you've got everything to take into consideration.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you guys have only been going for 2 years. It's wild. I was like looking through some of your Facebook stuff. You guys have played some pretty big shows, but like where were some of your first shows at? You guys mentioned Copperhead, obviously. Quite a place for sure. What other venues have you guys, like how far north and south of, so you guys are like the Boone-ish kind of area sort of, right?
Yep. Yeah, so Alex actually lives in Boone. Justin graduated from high school there.
Okay.
And we live south of Stratford.
Okay.
So we're like, what is it, like 12 miles north of Boone?
Not too shabby.
Yep. So we're just right there.
Mm-hmm. So is that like mostly your area? Because I do see you guys playing shows in the Des Moines area, but I think I've also seen you maybe closer to up north here too, which is like the Fort Dodge-ish area.
Yeah, we when we played your break, we got a gig at Bootleggers out of that deal.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Classic Nate.
And then we got sick, extremely sick.
Oh, yeah.
And we
It
had
was
to
the weekend after
cancel it.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
We were so bummed out. We were going
Yeah.
to get into the Stratford or the Fort Dodge market, and
Yeah.
we had to
Well,
cancel.
Hopefully we get rebooked
Yeah,
soon.
you'll
I
have
hope
that.
so.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully.
I'm sure it'll happen. Yeah, just keep knocking around. You guys ever gone up to any of the jam nights up around Fort Dodge?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been to, what is
A
it?
couple of them.
Where do we go?
Second floor of the Eagles Club
Yeah,
there?
yep,
The
yep.
Eagles
Yes.
hideout.
Yeah, I need to get there. I really do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you play a full drum set, that'd be
Yeah.
right up your alley. Swing in there, play a couple
I'll grab
songs.
a guitar once or twice.
Yeah,
I
you
got
will.
my cigar box. That's fun.
Oh, yeah, he has some cool things. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun.
No, to address your question. So, yeah, we've played like Clear Lake, tapped at Clear Lake.
Cool.
We've been to Okoboji last summer. We played up there.
Nice.
We played Knuckleheads and Badger.
Yeah.
Is that right? Badger? I always
Yep.
mix up the town
Rails
names, so.
and Eagle Grove.
Yeah, we're at Rails. Yeah.
A couple
Pretty often.
times.
Yep. And then as far as south, like Shotgun Betty's.
Oh, cool. Cool.
We've played a couple of fundraisers at Miss Kitty's. We're going to be in
That place is
Altoona
cool, too.
coming up. Four Seasons in Newton. I mean, we're just kind of all over the place. Madison County Fair.
Oh, cool.
Tiger Bowl loves us.
Tiger Bowl loves us
that's
in
fun.
Madrid.
That's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome how like that happens because like I don't know, it just sounds weird. Like we all kind of have these places where it's like these are the home base places. I guess obviously for me it'd be like Bootleggers. I've probably played more shows than anywhere else. But at the same time, we also have those places like Tapped in Clear Lake is like an out of town hometown spot for a lot of us too. Like a lot of the country artists around here, like people that have been on here even, it's like, well, shoot, a lot of us play at Tapped 3, 4, 5 times a year,
Yeah,
maybe,
look at the stickers. I mean, everybody's there.
Yeah. I think that, that all started like me and Jesse were there and put a sticker up there. Cause I think maybe Scott Kirkhart had put one up there like the week before, but it was like, there usually didn't used to be stickers there. And then somebody put one up there. And I know me and Jesse were like some of the first. It was like, Jesse Wilson, Audible Farm, boom, we're putting these up here. And now it's just like a whole sheet of stickers up there.
Yeah.
I always feel good and bad about that because I don't want to be the first person to put a sticker up there. But if there's already one there, I'm following suit. But at the same time, I like to just give away stickers and just be like, put them wherever you want. I don't care. Like, if I'm not the one putting it there, I don't feel as bad. But
Yeah.
that's also like secretly, I think one of the best pieces of merch is stickers because like you guys mentioned the stickers up there on stage. I wonder how many people see those that aren't the musicians.
Right.
I mean, because they are up on, kind of up on the stage area. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's like up there when there's not music.
I guess I think back before we played music and I never really noticed stickers anywhere that I went in to like eat or listen to music.
I
but
do in
I don't know.
bathroom stalls, you know.
Bathrooms is different,
You need
yeah.
to zone out on something. That's
You
good.
know, the secret sauce for that is to put it like right on the urinal if
Yeah.
you're a guy. I started doing that in venues, and now there's like
Good
like
call.
Lefties in Des Moines is just like a sheet of stickers across the urinals. So
That's great.
just a secret, throwing that out there. But
Noted.
so, what are some like the biggest challenges you guys have faced as a band? Let me ask you that question, because I know every band, it's not always just sunshine and rainbows. Is it like trying to break into new markets, or is it like trying to choose the songs, or finding time to rehearse, or trying to get the time to everybody, like book a show? It's like, well, I'm busy but you're not, and this person is, so I guess we're gonna do a 2-piece, or like, how does this all work out?
So the really good thing is we are really good about making ourselves available for music, like as a primary focus. So Alex works a full-time day job, manages a company, basically is kind of a foreman position with a company, and he still makes time for us, and his boss is fully understanding of that too, which is
Trees can
super
wait.
cool. Exactly.
Trees can
Yep.
wait.
So that has not really been a challenge for us. We have our kids on a pretty regular schedule, but we have them like at the same time. So that also kind of works out for us. New venues. So in the very beginning, I wasn't really outgoing in trying to get us in places. And then I just looked at the guys and I'm like, I'm just going to start cold calling. I'm going to email. I'm going to Facebook message. I'm going to ask around. We're going to go in and network. We're going to give our koozies and our stickers and our stuff out, and we're going to talk to people, and we're going to do this and do that. And that's kind of where it came down to us going to listen to other bands too, is in the very beginning was sort of beneficial to us, because we could say, hey, we have a band too, without being interruptive, obviously of the talent there. So now I don't hesitate. I make a call, I send a message, I shot, 12 emails out yesterday, something.
Yeah.
But anyway, for me, one of the biggest challenges is gaining a following at a new location, especially if it's a town you haven't played before.
Yeah.
Right? And we know that what we play are things that people are going to recognize, and they're really going to be like, oh, I haven't heard this song in a while, or this is one of my favorite songs to hear a band play. But maybe we do it a little different, and maybe like since we're on stage, they don't feel like they can interact with us yet because they don't know us, and that's a small town thing, right? If you don't know someone, how do you approach them or be super open to them? And so that has been a little bit of a challenge. In the beginning it was.
Yeah,
And then we kind of got used to the fact that some locations just don't have really overly interactive
maybe
crowds.
not so enthusiastic.
And so if they're not, that's fine. We're still there.
Outwardly, I guess, but after the fact, like, you guys were amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think we've played a
So-
show that we haven't had people come up to us later and be like, you guys did great. We enjoyed listening to you. Like, this was fantastic.
We'll be playing and they'll be bobbing their heads and singing along. Get done with a song, nobody's
Crickets.
clapping, and you're like, what's going on here? And then after the show, they're like, man, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to like, it depends on the crowd, because it's like you said, some people are not the clap afterwards, but when you take a break, they'll talk to you kind of people.
Yep.
It just kind of
Right.
depends on who's there and what they're doing. And I think that's one of the toughest things about being a musician is like, we all have this thing in our head where we think like, I'm going to go to this place, I'm going to play music, and everyone's going to be like, like I'm going to be the center of
Right.
attention, maybe not, but it's like, we all think something along that facsimile is what's going to happen, because that's how we feel about music. But we go to places and sit and watch music. But recently, like Jesse and I played a show somewhere, and it's like NFL playoff football was on, because it was
Oh,
Saturday
yeah.
and whatever.
We've had that.
And so it's like, you just play, and you know that nobody's facing you at all.
Paid practice.
Not even,
Yeah.
barely not even paying attention to you, but it's still like, you just go there and you play the show, and when you're done, everyone's like, that was amazing. But it's like, I used to get, kind of, I don't want to say like self-conscious about that, but now it's just like, if I was in a bar and I went there to go watch football, I would do the same thing. So they just didn't come to watch the music. It doesn't mean they didn't hear it, because they surely heard it, and then they could tell me it, like they thought I did good when I leave. But at the same time, I just try my best not to get too worked up about it.
We were self-conscious at first, and we're totally over that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big hurdle to get over for
We
sure.
get it.
We've even been hired for things like background noise things. Like,
They'll tell us.
like a benefit or a fundraiser. Or
noise.
we did like a celebration of life one time, or no, it wasn't. It was a benefit for a lady that was sick. And anyway, so we did this benefit, and we knew going into it to keep it a little bit on the calmer side because, well, that was our plan. Because we thought we were playing during dinner. They were going to have drinks. They were going to do an auction afterwards. And we're like, okay, so we're just background noise, right? They want music, but they want it live instead of just like playing stuff over like an intercom or over speakers. And it ended up being a little more interactive than we planned on it being, which was great. But yeah, I mean, now we kind of have in our heads, okay, we might just kind of be background music depending on what's happening in the location, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think we've ever played a show that like we don't see people interacting, somehow.
Yeah.
Someone is interacting or paying attention or watching or whatever. And honestly, we're out there doing what we love to do. So I don't know if that really matters anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and we have definitely learned
we
how
love
to engage the crowd more.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was a big hurdle also.
Like our buddy Jordan Beam, he doesn't have that problem. He goes into a place and he demands the people pay attention, and he creates interactions.
Right,
and
just watch any one of his videos. They're all going crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Take notes from that man.
Like, we've learned a lot from seeing all of our musician friends play and learning things like that and implementing some of that to our shows.
I mean, you bring up a good point. Going to watch your peers is a good networking opportunity. It's a good way to get known. You know, like I work in marketing, so I've also seen like, you know, sometimes people think like, oh, I put out one ad, or I have a sticker somewhere or something in there, like I should be famous by now. And it's like, no, you have to like stay front of mind at all times. So like you guys, it's like, well, I don't have a show booked, you know, in theory, like this next Saturday, so we're going to go watch that person play in this town because why not? Right. And then we can walk around, you put your rural route hat on, and people are just like, oh, those are the people from rural. Oh, what are you guys doing here or whatever? You go say hi to the musician at their break, you know, and you're always like kind of just there with everybody, you know. But at the same time, you brought up a really good point. You can go to these shows and just be like, I like this thing this person's doing, and you can take a sliver of this person's live show and then incorporate it into yours. Yeah, exactly. And I know that some people are like, I'm never doing anything I don't think of because that's the integrity of the artist. But it's like, is it though? Because like everything is like an amalgamation of something else. So why not take the tiny piece of what you like out of something and then incorporate it into what you're doing? If it's what you want to do anyways, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be crowd interaction. That could be the way you handle merch or the way you handle your business, or like, oh, this person has a fiddle in their band, I'm going to go find somebody that plays fiddle. You know, it could be anything really, you know? Right. And I don't know. I think that's something a lot of bands could possibly learn from, I guess. Like marketing's like not always an easy thing to bridge because that always has to be like in the front of your mind too at all times when you're going out places, you know? I mean, a good example would be like, you can't just like, not that you guys do or I do. I definitely am well dressed everywhere I go, but you don't want to like go out, you don't want to go out somewhere like a slob and, you know, and people are just like, there's, you know, whatever, the slobby guy or whatever, you know. That's the slobby guy that runs Audible Farms. Like, I put it on jeans today. I'm not wearing sweatpants, everybody. I got dressed up. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of those things I think that a lot of people just, it all depends on what you want out of it though too. I mean, have you guys like ever had that conversation? Like, what is the end goal of all of this music?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh no, the cat wants in, but it's not coming in because she will get on the podcast. She's done a bunch.
What do we want out of it?
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes that's a conversation people don't have as musicians with their fellow bandmates, and then all of a sudden they're stuck in a place where it's like, how come we're not trying to do this? It's like, I don't really actually even want to do that. I just kind of want to do this instead. And, you know.
Well, so I mean, I think as far as we go, as a trio, I don't know that we've, 2 years in, discussed quite like how far we would want to take something, right? I mean, because how do you do that at 2 years and we're still gaining new venues and new followers and all this? But Justin and I both stepped away from our full-time jobs working for someone else fairly recently, and we now work for ourselves. Music is a huge part of that. I mean, not only financially, but just passionately too. It's honestly, that's one of the biggest things, where Alex has found a passion in what he does full time. It's not work to him. He loves what he does. He talks about it all the time. We know that. But music is also a secondary passion for him. And so when we can do shows, all of us together, great. We kind of decided upon becoming our own bosses that we were also going to do some duo shows. So now when I reach out to venues, I give them an option. We can play a trio show, which we really like to do on the weekends because obviously more interaction, more volume. Right. The percussion is there. It's great. But we do have places that are like, well, we're either limited in space or we don't have that many people on these certain days or weeknight shows and stuff.
Yep.
We have booked a few duo shows and been submitted for some duo shows because some places want a little more acoustic, right? Just a little bit of calmer thing where we have the ability, we live together, we can sit down any night we want to and put together a new set list if we want or learn new, material. So I think we have a really good dynamic. As far as, where we want to go eventually, I don't know what that looks like.
Where'd we play in Ames? What was that place? I showed up like halfway through the first set covered in sawdust.
Oh, it was that little wine bar.
Yeah, no, I love that place. I cannot.
Delavidi.
Yep, yeah. Showed up to that.
We played the Ames Music Walk.
That was pretty cool. They had
It was really cool.
20 or 30 musicians located at all different businesses on Main Street in Ames. That was really neat.
The only downside is not being able to walk around and see them all.
Right.
I saw those jazz guys on the corner when I was walking up.
Yeah.
Jazz guys out busking.
Yep.
Dude, that's awesome. I don't know, people like out playing in the streets. I always thought that was some of my favorite stuff, especially if you could get away with it in acoustic fashion. Like, I bet you guys could probably do that, where you just have an acoustic guitar and you have a cajon and then she just sings. It could probably be pretty easy to just sit there and do that without having to drag out a huge PA system or something. So, that'd definitely be the benefit of being like this semi-acoustic trio, because you do mostly play cajon or only play cajon with Rural Route.
Yeah, just cajon.
Yeah.
So well, I've played the cigar box once or twice, just,
Oh, cool.
at home.
Yeah.
I think as we keep going, I think things will...
We should work some of that in.
We've talked about some, like, just both of them playing a rhythm guitar type of situation, or rhythm and lead, and leaving the cajon out for, a song or two, but...
Because I don't know music theory whatsoever, but I can find where you're at, find your mode, and sit in pretty well.
That's pretty funny. Somewhat trained by ear. I don't know. I think like music theory is one of those things. Even if you don't learn it, you like play enough guitar, you'll figure out like, oh, there's a pattern here,
right?
And then it's just like, well, if I just move the pattern over to here, it's the same thing but different, different key, and it's like I'll just do it over here then, and that's basically how it all works,
Yeah, growing up, my friend was a savant. He knew it.
Yeah.
And on that basis, I'm like, I'm not going to learn anything and just do it intuitively. And if I have any questions, I'll ask you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, maybe try this one. Just go to the minor. I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, it's always nice to have somebody to bounce the ideas off of.
But I wanted that ignorance kind of just to see where it took me, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, sometimes you're strapped down by your conventions in some aspect.
I thought that if I went too deep into it, it would always be in the back of my head and kind of stifle some part of me, and I still haven't gone there.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, because like music theory is basically just like a set of rules that like you can break sometimes at certain ways and it's okay,
Right.
But
when it comes down to it, it seems intuitive. It's like it works just because it works.
Yeah.
And there's really no explanation. You can't peg that down to any one thing. It just, you feel it in yourself, and then you're back to that intuitive side. Like, might as well start there.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. That was something when I kind of finally wrapped my head around, like, oh, I can do this on a guitar and it actually works, or I can do that on a guitar and it actually works. It was like a really mind-opening, point in my life. Like, I mean, Justin, so like you were basically just a campfire guitarist. Did you ever have an aha moment like that playing guitar?
I have had a couple aha moments, but I haven't reached like your level of aha yet.
Well, I think it's just different strokes for different folks, like, as weird as it sounds, my aha moment came playing like heavy metal tabs, and it was just like, oh, I noticed these guys are doing a lot of moving around, but they're hitting the same notes in theory, like it's just the same notes an octave down, and it's like, well, then they're just following this pattern around the rhythm that goes like this, and it's like, well, that's that's easy, because then like the next song, the rhythm's here, it means that's the key, and that means this is the pattern, and you're like, oh, there, aha, you know. So I learned like the aha moment, not even like playing country music like I am now, but you know, I still think it's one of those things where you start to like, well, I just learned the shapes, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, this is an E because that's an E right there, and then you're like, oh, this is a G because that's a G, and this is a C because this is a C, and then you start to figure out like, oh, these are the thirds or the fifths that would stack on it or something like that. Or did you ever have an aha moment like that singing at all? Like, have you ever picked up any instruments and played along? Let me ask you that.
No.
No, not even a tambourine.
No,
nothing?
yeah, I tambourine.
I cannot myself.
I can harmonica a little bit.
Oh, you do.
Oh, nice.
Alanis, harmonica.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cool.
I played clarinet in middle school.
Sweet.
And kind of then could carry at that time could carry it over to a piano just a little bit, not terrifically at all. Nothing I could even do today. But I understood, you know, music theory when it came to that. My choir director basically just concentrated on everything vocal with me and was like, I want you to get out of band and come take a second choir class and do this and whatever. I was on stage the first time at 4 years old singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for my grandma in front of a bunch of people that my uncles and my dad were playing for like some wedding reception anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I really had an aha moment. I've just always tried to improve and be better, improve my range, improve what songs I can do. I mean, complexity, right? And I've just always worked on that.
Yeah.
Music's always been my outlet, my emotional outlet. So
I always think that, like, as far as like music theory goes, when I first started learning it, like when I saw it on a piano was like the first time I saw it on an instrument and it made sense, which was like weird because I had played the trumpet for like 7 years up till that point, and I was like, I get it kind of because these are like half steps and whole steps on a trumpet, but like it doesn't make sense when there's only 3 buttons, you know. You know, it's like the rest of it's all on your lips, you know. So like then when you're playing a guitar, it's like I kind of see the patterns, but they're not as intuitive. And then you look at a piano and you're like, oh, this is, it obviously repeats here and here and here and here because that's where like the black keys repeat and the white keys repeat. You know, it's like, well, it just makes sense that the pattern would be this, you know. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me was like just seeing it all on a piano for sure. But I wish I could sing. I'll say that for sure.
Well, and I think vocally too, we use Ultimate Guitar on our tablets, and now reading the music takes me back to middle school and high school where you know they gave you a sheet of music and they said learn this. I wasn't like that. I couldn't go home and just learn it. I didn't have anybody to play it for me to, you know, match it up for me. So I would go into class, hear it, learn by ear. Now I can kind of pull away from reading it and be like, oh, this is how it's supposed to sound with flats and minors, and you can kind of hear it, you know, yourself when you're singing it, and it makes sense. But
I think like especially with stuff like I always in my mind I think like normal songs. Here I am with normal songs, but like anything we've heard on the radio a bunch, you know, like it doesn't matter what should have been a cowboy or whatever it is, you know, like it could be like a Led Zeppelin song or whatever. We've all heard these songs so many times that when you like get the tab out and you look at the music, you're like, I can kind of line this up. But if somebody was just like, yeah, play the slow feet shuffle jazz ensemble song that we just assigned everyone, it's like, I've never heard this before. But the funny thing is to like the jazz people or like the bandies, like they know these like weird songs where you're just like, oh, you actually do know what this song is by some irrelevant composer to me, but it's actually like something they know. So they can like in their head be like, oh yeah, it kind of goes like this. But like, you know, it's like you said, when I was growing up and they were just like, yeah, here, play this song. And it's like, I've never heard, you know, whatever this song is called. And they're like, no, we've played this song a bunch, you know, and like everybody knows this song. Like this is a classic from the 30s. And it's like, it might be a little out of scope. But like if somebody was just like, here, play this song. And it's like, even if it's like a newish country song, it's like, I feel like new music in like, you know, 60s on, 50s on is just kind of derivative of itself. So like you can kind of figure out how songs go even if you haven't heard them too, you know, to an extent. I mean, that's not something you guys really have to deal too much with, but sometimes Jesse's like, I'm going to play this song come look at my tablet real quick. And I'm just like, yeah, I've never heard of this song before in my life, you know? And it's just like, well, I'll just play along and
Figure it out.
look at the chords real quick. I'm like, all right, I think I got it. And then you just go to the other side of the stage and play along. Like, so I don't know. That's where music theory comes in a little bit handy. But let's go down the line. So let's talk about some like big shows. I know you guys have played, I don't want to say like huge shows, but you guys have played some bigger shows. I would definitely consider some of the shows down in the Des Moines area, like your Miss Kitties and Shotgun Betties and things like that. I guess to me, those are like, that's a big place for big music, and either one of those are, they're usually well-attended venues and well-documented shows. So what are some of the biggest shows you guys think you've played? Have you guys opened up for any like traveling bands?
We opened for Jordan Beam last summer.
That's pretty dope.
We loosely opened for Jordan Beam last summer. So we actually have a friend of ours that has a friend who has a part in the campground the night before the state fair opens. They have done live music. And Jordan has played, what'd they say, like 7 years?
Yeah.
8 years? Something like that. Anyway, he always plays for a couple of hours that night to get people pumped up. Fair's the next morning, have some drinks, hang out at your campers, do the thing. And we actually had a guy approach us and say, would you guys, if Jordan's okay with it, would you guys be okay with coming and doing like an hour before he does? And so Justin and I went down and played an hour.
That's pretty cool.
and then he was setting up, and it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Our boys are like #1 Jordan Beam fans. So they're 11 and 12, and they are the biggest fans. So they got to meet him and got a hat from him and got their picture taken with him, and so that was also super heartwarming. No, we haven't opened for traveling bands, but playing the benefits at Miss Kitty's has been
Musicians for Mental Health and
Yeah.
Wow, that was amazing.
the benefit for flood victims in Spencer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We did the Ledges 100th anniversary.
That's cool.
That was really cool.
That's Ledges State Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a fun place.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been out there a few times, just walking around, like not getting lost, but just walking around, getting lost,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool place.
Played Pufferbilly Days
Yeah.
in Boone.
Oh yeah, some of those
Our
like
hometown.
street
Yeah.
dances or like
Yeah.
the small town, not the fair but still a festival kind of shows, or some of the the best shows to play.
Yep. Madison County Fair was pretty fun too.
I like that.
We were kind of on
That was cool.
we were kind of on the, what do they call it? Like the thoroughway? Is that what they call it?
Thoroughfare.
Thoroughfare? Yeah, that.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
between the food and the rodeo, they have like this little area, and people come in
It was
from
a spot
parking. And,
everybody had to walk past us.
yeah.
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 Didn't
yeah.
have a choice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
If
awesome.
you want to go to the rodeo, you gotta
Yeah.
listen for at least a little bit.
Oh man, that's if you want to play in Texas, you got to have fiddle in your band.
That's right.
If you want to go to the rodeo, you got to listen to Rural Route, play some tunes.
Amen.
It's
That's
like
right.
it's like the Rural Route tax, like
Yeah. Well, I think Corey Jamison got them, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it got them like convinced to have live music. They've never done it before. So last year they were like, we're gonna have live music before the rodeo hits, and then they had somebody play after the rodeo too, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I think a lot of the fairs are starting to do things like that, like a little bit more, where they'll have, whatever it happens to be. I'm not trying to make it all like rednecky, but like if they have like, figure 8 races or a rodeo or monster trucks or tractor pulls or something like that, that's usually like, if you will do that, but afterwards, like we're having a band and they're going to be, like you said, in on the thoroughfare or whatever it's called, out there between where your cars are at and the thing you're going to.
Correct.
So people walking back to their cars stop for a while and spend a little more money because that's kind of our jobs.
Yeah.
But I've played a couple of those with Jesse, and those are fun ones to go to because you never really know what it's going to be like, and sometimes it's just like you get close to the end of the show and you're like, it really hasn't been that busy, and then all of a sudden there's like 50 people and you're like, where have you guys been this whole time? And it's like, well, they were actually just like right over here at a campsite, or something. It's like, and they were just like, oh wow, let's go check out the music, so those are always really fun shows.
Yeah.
Speaking of campsites, we played, I think we played 3 campgrounds this past year.
That's gotta be cool.
Bells.
Bell's Mill, up just north of Stratford. They have a Bell's Bash every summer and raise money for the campground, and we played that the last couple years. We did Don Williams the year before that for a camper appreciation day.
What was the one in Tama?
Blake Jack, he got a hold of us. I think he's part owner in this campground over by Tama, and we played that.
That's gotta be cool. I don't know if I've ever played. I mean, I've played at a campground. There's like a place in town here that does a show once a year in Humboldt at Sheldon, the Rockin' Picnic. That's like a Labor Day show that they do out there, and there's 10 bands out there or whatever it is, and so that's a fun one to do too. But I haven't really played other than that one. I don't think I've played at a campground for a camping thing.
So gigs like that work out really good for our kid weekends.
Yeah, we take them along. We pull the camper.
Oh, sweet!
They
Yeah,
run around
it's awesome.
with friends, or when it gets dark, they know to either be in the camper or be where we can see them in front of us. And
Run around and meet kids, and they're like, "That's my mom and dad up there."
That's cool. That'd be fun.
yeah. Well, and then
It's fun.
we have my 13-year-old too. She sings a song with
yeah.
Justin. She does a duet thing with Justin.
Oh,
and
cool.
Sings a Zach Bryan song, and
Oh, that's awesome.
so if she's with us when we play, I'm like, get up here and sing it. And the first time she was really apprehensive. Now she's better.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's like
Get
overcoming
them involved.
overcoming those little
Yeah.
like we talked about, almost like insecurities where you're just like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm shy,
I know.
or like whatever. But
We're trying to
had-
get the boys up there too.
Well, we had one like event that we played at the Adobe,
Oh yeah, we had them all up there. At
and
the
all
Adobe.
three of them got up and sang the
Yeah.
very last song of the night with us, and
Oh,
or
that's
of the
cool.
day. I guess it was like an afternoon thing. And
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. I mean, that makes me think. So
if they
like,
can get involved, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially like bringing along the next generation. It's really cool that it's actually like, your kin. So like it's kind of cool that that's a thing. Passing it along to somebody else, like getting the next wave of people involved or just showing them how much fun it can be. And you don't have to be like, some shredder or some like insanely talented, super crazy, whatever, name a metal band or name like your best country guitar players or whatever, so you don't have to be that guy or that girl to go out there and do all this stuff. We can just have like the talent we have and go out there and entertain people. And I think that's something that, I always look at quite a bit, where I'm just like, I don't know. We play with so many talented people. Like our peers in the music scene in Iowa are so talented. Like I'm always just like, do I belong here with these people? Like
I feel that.
we had that feeling the first open jam night we
Fort
came
Dodge
to.
is amazing.
Yeah, Fort
it's
Dodge
like
is wild.
Ober came up to us and is like, "Oh, I didn't even see you guys here. Don't worry about it. Like we're gonna finish up in a little bit, but we'll stay going. You guys get up here." And we're like, "No,
no,
like,
we're good.
You guys are out of our league right now. We're listening. We're really enjoying ourselves. Like too much.
Yep.
So you didn't get up there?
We did not.
We did.
Boo!
Yeah.
We will sometime.
Oh man, yeah, you got to get up there to those. But I also agree. Like, there's so many talented people that go to the third Thursday jam at Eagles Hideout in Fort Dodge. If you guys want to just Google it and check it out, like there's so many talented guitarists there that'll play leads, which is kind of what I do. That I'm just like, I don't even care if I play. I show up because I want to play, but I'm still just like, it's not going to hurt my feelings one bit if they like overlook me or if I just stay here for an hour and
It's
leave.
some of the best music in the state of Iowa, I think. It's amazing.
It is.
Possibly get behind that. I've been trying to champion it for quite a while, but it's like everybody knows there's a bunch of killers from Fort Dodge. It's funny because Jesse, like, every now and then will say something where like he'll get booked and he'll just be like, "Oh, you're a Fort Dodge guy." So they know there's like a Fort Dodge musician something in the water or whatever it is. But yeah, those jams are super fun.
So the last one we went to, Jesse came up to us. I think he played somewhere earlier that night and he showed up late. And he came up to us and he was like, "I need one of your Roll Route shirts." And I was like, "What size do you wear?" And
We had him in the truck. Yeah.
he said 2X or whatever. And I ran to the truck and got one. And then next thing I know, he took his shirt off and put our shirt on and got on stage.
And then he was up
and
there. It was pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think like cross promoting, musicians is
Yeah,
definitely something.
I love
that,
it.
it was something I used to do at Jesse shows, and I took this from, and this is, again, you can borrow things even from different genres and incorporate them into new ones. It's not like nobody else had ever done this, but like country music people look like you nowadays. You know,
Yeah.
they have a hat, they have a button-up shirt on, just some rando t-shirt, nice jeans, nice shoes, whatever. We're going to town, you know, and it's like, I would go up there with Jesse shows, and it's like, well, I'm going to do jeans, a hoodie, and then like a band shirt underneath, because this is what like a punk rock guy would do or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, because at
Yeah.
punk shows, you know, nobody makes any money, and everybody supports everybody, and that's just kind of how it works, you know. And nowadays, you see a lot of that where people are just like, I'm up on stage, and I got somebody else's hat on, and then somebody else's shirt on, or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not supporting local today. I got an Aristocrats shirt on, but the Aristocrats are really good, though, so check them out. But yeah, so I think that's one of the things that you know, cross promoting or supporting other musicians. It's just a nice way to kind of pass it along. Like, once again, like I've always tried to find a way to like support somebody else in their endeavor, because just the fact that I get to be involved in the conversation is like all I really need. You know, like we talk about like going to jam nights. It's like if I get to play, I'm over the moon. But if I don't play, it's like it doesn't bother me too much. You know, so
Most of our shows, one of us is wearing somebody else's shirt for sure.
I need
We're
a-
always
I need
we're always
a-
promoting.
I need a Griggs pink shirt.
Yeah.
I really do.
I've got
Yeah.
one. You can borrow it anytime
Yeah.
you want.
You borrow it.
And then at breaks, we try to play other people's music.
Yeah, yeah. We'll create playlists, or we'll play like Joshua Sinclair's newest album, or we'll mix. We'll have a mix.
Or
of,
Jesse or
yeah,
Scott and-
yeah.
All kinds of people.
One thing we had talked about was kind of like overcoming I don't know, the things we're like self-conscious of, and that was something that like, again, like just going to jam nights and just be like, you want to come up here and play? And it's like, no, I don't fit in here, I'm not going to go play, you know. So it took me a long time to actually like go play at jam nights, and it was like smaller ones that I kind of started playing at before I started playing at bigger ones. Or I'd have the tactic of like, the third Thursday jam night used to be at a different bar, and like late at night they'd like, you know, they'd keep it going kind of later than normal, and if I showed up late enough, most of the people would already be gone, and then I could play to nobody. Right. And then I was more comfortable, you know. So I'd do that kind of stuff where it's like I was also like, you know, I had a job and I was going to school at the same time, so like I was kind of busy, but like show up at 11, it's like, is anybody still here? Because if they're still here, I'll play a couple tunes, but you know, otherwise I'm not going to. But so what were some of the things like that you guys personally overcame? I mean, like, you guys really hadn't played a whole lot of shows before your first show, but you had kind of dabbled with some bands, Alex. Yeah. So what were some of the things that you guys overcame personally to, like, you know, were you like nervous to play your first show, or was it like, I really didn't want to play this song, or like, you know, you go to like one venue, you're like, this venue is going to be something special, you know, or like, what were those things for you guys?
I think a lot of my self-consciousness really comes out when I'm playing in front of people I care about.
Okay.
That's when I get the shakes. It's like, oh, I love these people and they're watching me and they care. They're here to support.
We might be. It seems like when we're playing a private party for 20 of our close friends, sometimes it's more nerve-wracking than playing for a couple hundred people that we don't know.
It's easier. I'm like, sometimes I'll say on stage, I'm like, it's okay, these are background people, in a sense. You know nobody.
Exactly.
You know.
What do they call, like, the non-playable character or whatever? Yeah,
exactly.
It's just like the person
NPC
it's just the person in the video. They're like, they're just there, you know. And I would agree with that 100%. Like, when you're playing for people you know, or like, somebody books you for a private party and you're like, I actually know these people, and like it's not like I'm playing at a bar that can recoup the money. I'm playing at a private place that possibly not recouping the money from paying me. It's like, I gotta do good here, you know. Or like those places where it's like, if I'm in a big venue with like TVs and bartenders and pool tables and dartboards and, you know, whatever, mechanical bull, whatever it is, you know, like there's a plethora of other things to do other than watch me. So I feel like I can hide a little bit still, even though I'm like brought in as one of the pieces of the focal point of the night. But at the same time, like you said, if you're just at like a small bar and there's not a whole lot to do, or you go to those private parties, sometimes it's like, this is the thing to do. If they're sitting around a fire looking at you. That's those are the nerve-wracking ones for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So let's talk a tiny bit about like MCMO. You guys MCMO members?
We are.
Nice, nice. Have you guys like done anything with the MCMO? Like been nominated for any awards, gone to any award shows, anything like that? Gone to any of the events they've done yet?
Well, we're not sure if we're nominated yet, but we're trying for a few.
Nice. Nomination process is in.
Mm-hmm.
We need to probably make another post about that today because I think it's over tomorrow.
Okay. So as of the recording
For
of
the-
this. So,
Nominations.
So when this comes out, it's already over. So I hope you got your,
Yeah.
hope you got your
I
votes
hope
in.
so.
Vote yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we haven't done any events or anything like that. We just joined up a few months ago. I mean, maybe 6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah. something
I actually
like
I met Brad Morgan's wife, Nikki, through through my own cleaning business that I have, and she gave me Nikki's number. I reached out to her, and then when Nikki and I started chatting, she was like, "You guys really should do this. Like, you really should." So she sent me all the information. We went and talked to them a little bit, hung out after the show or during and after the shows that he had, and some other stuff, and learned a little bit more about it. And honestly, like, we had already met like Lee Klett, we'd met Scott Kirkhart, Jesse Wilson.
You guys were playing.
You guys were playing Lehigh.
Tatanka.
Or Tatanka, yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Yep.
Tatanka.
We came
yeah.
up there.
Yep. Yeah, actually,
And,
I got a really cool picture of Jesse like holding his guitar, and you have a Jesse shirt on, and it's like a picture of Jesse with a rainbow over him, and then the shirt you're wearing is in the foreground. It's really cool, kind of cool looking.
Yeah. So we had met several people within, and then we're like, oh,
Did
this
you
would be
guys
a really cool organization.
Have any gear ruined that day?
No, we
It
did not.
Poured down rain. I think Brad lost a expensive speaker that day.
Yeah, their guitarist had a guitar he's had and been playing for like 40 years or 30 years, like got rained on really bad, and the finish on it was like worn off enough that the paint ended up like absorbing the wetness from the raindrops, and it had all these like speckles all over. It was kind of weird. It rained a lot, and luckily like I don't play like super expensive equipment most of the time because I'm kind of just leery of that, I guess. So I just bring like a cheap guitar, and it's like, well, if it get rained on, it's not the end of the world. I'd be sad, but it wouldn't, bum me out too much.
Yeah.
So I just like drug my stuff into the corner and just like pushed it in the back. I'm like, whatever, I'll just chuck it over here. But yeah, that was wild. Like for a while, it was just like dumping into the stage from like the awning and stuff. It was a wild show. Yeah, so like the MCMO though, like I think it's such a great organization in general because like if you don't have the ability or the capacity to go out and go to other shows, it's a great way to kind of just incorporate other musicians, into what you're doing in some capacity where you're like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like you're all tied together, by the MCMO. It's a great way to get your band or your person's name, in the conversation with other people's that you might not otherwise cross paths with, So.
Certainly.
Well, and they just did that cover challenge.
Yes, that was really cool.
So we don't have recorded music yet, like anything out there streaming. But
We've got about 15 songs ready to record.
We do. We have a bunch of
don't
originals
have
we
them
play
done
live. But I was talking to Justin. I'm like, I really want to do this. And there's a Jordan Beam song that I really, really like to sing. Like I've loved it since I first heard it. It's one of his newer ones. And so we just shot him a message, and we're like, hey, do you care if we do this challenge and cover this? And so we did it.
Like,
we did Slow Down by him, and it was great.
That's really cool. Jesse is a member, and he covered a Jared Benson song. So
We saw it, yeah.
So we actually have like incorporated that into our shows and started playing that at shows now, which is pretty sweet. Including having Jared like opened up for us at a private event we did recently, and it was like he's just like packing up his stuff, and he's just like, I might head out before you guys are done because I don't want to sit around for 3 hours while you guys I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So like before we took our first break, it's like he's probably going to take off a break. It's like, you want to get up here, sing this song with us, So he came up and sang along with us while we played his song, and it was like kind of cool to be like, oh, cool. He's got like a full on backing band for this song, And,
That's cool.
That's awesome.
it's we share enough musicians around the Fort Dodge area. I think Dave Schmieder might have even recorded on the song. So like, and Dave Schmieder plays along with Jesse and his band. So it's one of those things where like Dave's been incorporated in a lot of people's recorded music lately. So. Another shout out to Dave Schmieder, but
Yeah.
Jared is doing his album release party tonight at Shiny Top, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, nice! Back where it all started
Yeah.
for him. 'Cause I think he said his first show was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
around
There.
this time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool for him. Yeah.
that's kind of inspiring for us because I think they recorded it in Trevino's basement,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
basically,
Yep.
and then sent it off to Nashville to be mastered and mixed and mastered.
Yeah, me personally, I've been tracking stuff for more than 5 years, so I can get solid wave files, but when it comes to mastering, I'm not an audio engineer. That is beyond me.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we want to spend that money.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. So, like, I always said to somebody, like, I can record you one hell of a demo.
Yeah.
That's about the best I'm ever
Right.
going to call it. That's the best you're ever going to get out of it. Because
Right.
guess what? I'm not a mix or master guy. Like, I can kind of, sort of, but
Yeah. I can make it sound good out of your phone, but
bingo. It
Yeah.
sounds good out of either the headphones I'm listening to right now, but it's a lot of those times when you take it to a car and you listen to it, you're like, ooh, it doesn't sound so good in here. And it's like, how do these people do this? What kind of dust are they, magic dust are they sprinkling on top of this stuff to make it sound
Exactly.
good? Yeah, it's always kind of a tough one. So you guys talked about recording. So is that your plan then? You're going to record
Oh,
the
we're-
stems and then send them off?
I'm taking our Focus right home tonight.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Jump on Reaper and
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
find out what our metronome is, and yeah.
A Reaper fan. For those of those, I know there's probably people out there that have never heard of Reaper. Well, the fun thing about Reaper was it's open source, and you can get like a permanent license for it.
Yeah.
So you can, in theory, or you can I think you can even run the free version forever if you
I
want to.
ran it, I think, for 3,000 days. I was reviewing it, as they say.
Yeah, and that's
But then I bought it. I'm like, I've abused this privilege.
Well,
like, we're buying it.
well they do it like that on purpose because they're just like, use it if you want to, but
Right.
it's not. I don't think there's even like a whole lot of more features you get if you
Not
pay for
really.
it even.
Yeah.
So like it's basically just a use it on your own kind of
Yeah.
deal. And I know people that have recorded full albums with Reaper and people that
Yeah.
prefer it to other DAWs, I guess whatever you want to call them. So yeah, I don't know. I have used a little bit of Reaper. I don't usually use it nowadays though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fun. It's fun to do a little bit of this kind of recording talk with somebody. But let's talk Broken Strings and kind of round this conversation out. You guys gave away a guitar for Broken Strings recently.
We did. Candice and I gave away a guitar.
All right, so let's broad stroke it. If somebody's going to listen to this episode first and they've never heard of Broken Strings, let's talk about what Broken Strings is.
Scott Kirkhart runs Broken Strings.
He's the man.
And his goal, their goal, our goal, I guess, we're part of it now, is to give away a guitar to a kid between the ages of 5th and 9th grade in every school district in Iowa.
Yeah, one guitar per school district. That's a lot of guitar. It's like
That is.
368 or whatever it is.
Vicious.
I think they're up to 60 or so.
60
or-
something.
Oh,
they had
nice.
they had the
Maybe
12
not.
days of December, and
Yeah.
a little bit into that, he said they were just over 50. Because we
Okay.
asked, because I was like, if I'm going to go in there and talk about it, I need to know something. So, so yeah, we went to Blairsburg.
So Candice reached out to the music teacher in Stratford, which is 3 miles north of our house, and she said, I don't have the perfect candidate in Stratford, but I also teach in Blairsburg a couple days of the week, and I have the 6th grader there that has been really good on ukulele that we're doing in class and has expressed interest in learning how to play the guitar, but doesn't really have a way to get a guitar.
Yeah.
So we're like, perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right what you need right there.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we set up a time with the school, and
The school actually set aside their music class time. And right before Christmas break, it was their last day before Christmas break, and set aside the time for us to go in and take it in and talk a little bit about Broken Strings to the kids, and a little bit about the child that we gifted this to, and then we got to meet the guardians of the child, and
That's
it was
super
fun.
fun. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's got to be a good feeling,
Yeah.
to be able to, incorporate yourself into something that, I've talked to Scott about this. He's been on other podcasts talking about this. But it's, it's such an ambitious thing for him to try to be doing, on the surface, it's just like, okay, big deal. Give a guitar to every, a kid in every school. But you have to go out there and find them all and then get there and then give them the guitar and set up a time. And It's a
Yeah.
lot, it's not
Yeah.
like it's just like a simple, easy feat. So he's, the organization, Broken Strings, has taken on, other people to be, ambassadors in some capacity to go out there and help hand out these guitars to people. So that's really cool that you guys are involved in that, and that, it's cool that Scott's doing it. It's such a neat thing for the whole organization to be tackling. I don't know. What made you want to get involved in this? Was it just the whole giving back to the community around you kind of deal?
I mean, I think it was our passion for music, and if we didn't have the backing that we had, growing up, would we be doing this?
Yeah.
True.
So it just kind of overtook our emotions for a
Exactly.
minute, and we were like, I think we can do this. And we live in an area separate from everybody else. So we don't live in Des Moines Metro. We don't live in Fort Dodge. We live kind of off the beaten path of everybody else. And we're like, maybe we can focus around our area, and just kind of help in our area.
The thing I think a lot is I want to be the person that I wanted at that age in that situation.
Yeah.
And,
Be who you would have needed when you were that age.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a
can I
really,
be
really
that?
good way to look at that. And I think back to the support I had. I mean, back to what I said earlier, but when I was 4, my grandma pulled me on stage with a microphone. You could hardly understand that I was singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, probably, right? And I was definitely not singing it properly, but but just the fact that I had someone believing in me, even at 4 years old, and then now we have the people that believe in us now. Everybody needs that in their life, right?
that's
So
where
this
that
is
comes
just
from.
our
Yep.
way of being able to believe in the fact that someone can have a talent and follow that and give back somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, giving back in some way, that's I don't know, I'm not trying to tie this back into something I'm doing, but that's one reason I started Audible Farm was I've got just enough time and I meet just enough people that why not? Why can't I just sit down and record the conversation I have with them and then let people get to know them? Because I'm, I kind of want to get to know everybody too, why not? So it's like a networking thing, and yours is much more wholesome. The whole fact that you want to give back and again, start the next generation out right, like you said, even with your own children or with your kin or your family members, it's yeah, come on up on stage and do this thing, and I think you guys even regaled me of a little story about having a guy come up or a kid come up and sing a song, up on stage. And was that the same thing when you gave away the guitar? Was that at the same event?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Good.
So the guardians of this kid were there they came to the school to watch, and they were recording the whole thing, and we happened to be playing at the Copperhead in Stratford that night, and we told them, and we said, why don't you bring him out? It's family friendly until 9:00. It's a restaurant. So they did, and we got him up on stage to sing a song with us.
Oh, it's cool.
It was so cool.
So did you guys play while he sang?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it was
awesome. That's so
I
cool.
stepped back. He took my microphone. I stepped back. I recorded it. I cheered along with the crowd. It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was phenomenal.
It was
And
really
it was
cool.
super cool because we did our first show at the Copperhead. This was our 100th show.
Oh,
and we
wow.
also
Yeah,
did it at the
wasn't it?
Copperhead.
Oh, that's super cool.
So just
Yeah.
all around, it was such a warm and fuzzy night.
That's so fun.
So good.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool. All right, I basically got down to the end of my list of questions here. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you guys want to mention that I haven't mentioned yet? Obviously, all of your social medias, any links I can find, that will be down below in the description section. But anything you guys have for closing statements?
We've got a really cool show coming up on January 24th over in Ames at the Angry Irishman.
Yeah, we
Is that Friday?
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yep.
So this will come out the day before that. So if you're
Okay.
listening to this the day it comes
Oh,
out,
nice.
Okay, yeah.
tomorrow, it's
So-
Angry Irishman.
So they've never had country music in this place before, and
No.
they wanted to have this country bash. And we got together with Sierra Griggs and Casey Peasley are going to be opening up for us.
Cool.
So it's some of the best female country music singers around.
Yeah, I'm fangirling already.
It's going to be really cool.
Get your pink shirt out.
It's a $10 cover, but it's 3 bands. It's 5 hours of music.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
going to be
fantastic.
I will say, though, that one of the best ways to support bands is, first and foremost, just to go to the show, tell your friends about them, but buy some merch. You guys have some awesome merch. I will plug that for you. I've got
Thank you.
I've got a shirt right over there. I believe that's my koozie, so I'm taking that back. I'm taking that back after the podcast is
We have
over.
stickers. We have hats. We're going to be doing hoodies. I'm going to start a pre-order for hoodies probably within the next week.
Yeah.
So,
Well, save me a hat. I'm definitely a hat guy. As I get older, my head is telling me I'm a hat guy now. So I definitely got to get a hat eventually too. So
we appreciate you having us on here so much because honestly, like the stuff that you talk about and the things you do, I mean, we can be on all the radio shows that we want to, but I know you reach way more people than that based off of, who's listening and the people and
isn't that wild? Like it depends on the shows and things like that. I think the on-demandness of a podcast like yields itself a little bit better than being on a radio. But I'll tell you what, like I went on the radio with Jesse not terribly long ago, and it was weird how many people were like, I heard you on the radio, and it's like, oh, whoa, cool. So, I don't want to down on the radio, guys. I've had Mason on here before.
No, we appreciate
love
it.
you, Mason.
Yeah. We love
But tell you
Mason too.
what, being on the radio is awesome.
Dude, it's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's like TV for musicians.
So the last time we were on the radio, we stopped and saw Hank in Spencer on our way to Okoboji.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of stuff lately.
And we recorded a song and had a short interview, and I was like, dude, my truck's parked right out front. I've never heard ourselves on the radio.
Right. Don't mean to bail, but
can you like play another song and let's go listen to it?
Yeah.
And we
Live on
did.
the
Yeah,
truck.
so we sat in the truck and listened.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Dude, that was
so
I
cool.
love that.
Well, Hank also came to our barn and recorded his first
yeah.
like pre-recordings of some of
Yeah.
our songs, and he has like 6 of them, I think, that he
That
can
was
play on there.
that
like,
was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been doing a
Anyway.
lot of work. That's the thing, though. Like, I love how the radio guys are still like dipping their toe into like this digital media stuff, like what I'm doing. So they're like incorporating it back and forth. And
Yeah.
he's been doing a lot of stuff lately, and I've loved what he's been doing. And there's also like Steve Shetler down in southeastern
Yeah.
Iowa
yeah, we've been
area.
down there twice.
Oh gosh.
Once.
Oh, once. Yeah, once. We sent him a thing too, like a pre-recorded song too. I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve's been in the industry for a long time, especially with the what I would call unsigned bands. So if you guys want, any information on that, he's a great market to tap down there. So
Yeah.
I do gotta say thanks for coming out. I always see you guys at shows. I always see you guys supporting everyone. It's one of my favorite things about you guys. I've seen you at shows supporting people more than I've seen you playing music, and so that's
thank you.
That is a testament to how much you guys are out there supporting people. And that's not to say they don't play music, because if you want to go see how much music they play, be sure to check them out tomorrow night in Ames, Angry Irishman. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And otherwise, social medias, they're all going to be down below. So check the social medias, follow them on everything, and don't miss the next show that's going to be in your area. Because you guys, like we said, it's like basically...
We'll be all over in the next 2 months.
Yeah,
all over.
50 miles around Fort Dodge, all the way up to Des Moines and Cedar Rapids, and then you can go up to the Okoboji area even. So you guys are, basically hitting all the hot spots in Iowa. So be sure to check them out. Rural Route. Thank you, Candice, Justin, and Alex. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
There you go, episode 236. It's Rural Route. That's such a good one. It's a good one there. I love to hear about people, participating in Broken Strings, or just, in some capacity giving back some time to something that's possibly bigger than them. I know we're all kind of doing that anyways with music, because we all, play music, and playing music is something that's bigger than all of us, whether we're playing in a band or doing singer-songwriter stuff. So it's nice to know that there's people out there doing that kind of stuff and donating their time to things like the Broken Strings Project. They're trying to donate a guitar to a different student, like one student in every school district in Iowa. That's such a monumental task to try to complete. So it's cool that they're involved in that, and the MCMO as well. So go out and check out Rural Route. They're all over the place. I got links down below once again. And check out one of their shows coming up. If you're listening to this today, it came out. They got a show tomorrow, so make sure you check that one out if you're in the Ames area. Otherwise, I got to say thanks once again to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association for sponsoring this episode. Thank you very much for helping us out. And check out everything they got going on. FDT, their podcast. It is produced by Audible Farm, so check that out as well. It's such a great podcast, and Shelly's sitting down talking with different people in the Fort Dodge area that make art and have different initiatives with these art. Usually it's public type figures, but we've done bands and we've done nonprofit organizations and things like that. So it's really kind of cool. More episodes coming up. I know there's some fun ones coming, so make sure you check that out. Wherever you're listening to this, you can listen to that as well. So thank you guys for checking that out. Otherwise, audiblefarm.com for basically anything else. There's the YouTube channel. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe. I know you probably saw the little advertisement thingy in the corner of the videos telling you to subscribe, but if you're listening to this, you can also subscribe in whatever capacity you can on your podcast streaming services. Woo, long pause. But yeah, so you can go ahead and do that. Leave us a review somewhere, or just tell somebody about the podcast, and just thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate that. And yeah, Patreon is still there. You can catch the episodes one day early. The shop still has some t-shirts left in it. There's still a couple on there, so check those out if you guys are looking for a t-shirt. Otherwise, stickers are in there as well. There's also hoodies in the shop now, so if you guys are looking for hoodies, there's a small handful of hoodies left too, so check those out. I did a little inventory on those, and you can see what we have left in the shop for those. Otherwise, yeah, just check out audiblefarm.com for everything else you need. We'll check you next week, everybody. Peace.